Troy from the Do-It-Yourself World, the Off-Grid Project. It is hot and humid on this beginning of the 4th of July weekend. Melanie's got clothes hanging up to dry. She's been washing a rug. I just planted a whole mess of Kerbis plants, and Melanie's watering them for me. 26 pumpkins and cucumbers and squash type plants. Now what I did, Melanie's just watering along behind me. It took her a little bit longer because she had to wait for me. But I dug out a hole, and then I put this black earth, the fertile stuff, in each hole. That's why you see a clump of dirt. Now I planted a little bit densely, and I did this whole row next to the garden. And the idea is we're going to train these to flow out into the yard. Each and every one of these will flow out into the yard and keep it away from the garden. This way they have this whole area to do whatever they want, and then we can walk around the vines as we go. And then I planted a few back in here in an area that we're not going to use yet. Now unfortunately the beetles have been eating them. Some of them are pretty badly messed up, so I had to get my organic spray out. Look at all these dead leaves on this plant. The beetles are destroying the plants, and this is just a matter of a couple days. There's one right here. He doesn't have much time left in this life because I sprayed that. So these were just covered in beetles, and I didn't see it before. I noticed the plants started looking wrong. I couldn't figure out why until I looked closer. See all the dead leaves in here? The destructive, evil things. All these plants are looking really weak now. Look at this, all shriveled up, all dead leaves. That one didn't get hit as bad, but you can see what the bugs do. So I hope they'll recover. I've got to continue spraying what she just finished watering, but I've got to do it now. I guess the beetles are bad during June and July, and then that's fine. I can spray now and then not use any stuff after the flowers are coming out, and then when the plants are growing. And also I don't want to kill any fertilizing insects, the pollinating insects. But to save the plants, I had to put something on there. There's no option. It is brutal out here for planting. Unlike back home where I grew up, like I said, you just throw stuff in the ground and it grew, but we were surrounded by farm fields full of fertilizer and pesticides, so we didn't have any bugs really. Anyway, I'm gonna keep on going. Looks like it's clearing up finally. We had some rain again in the night. We have rain every single day for 2 weeks straight. Literally, there wasn't a day that went by. Mom and Dad came up one day, it was supposed to be sunny, and they said it poured like mad where they were. We just got some sprinkles that day. But looks like it's clearing up nicely for us. And here, guys, is our chipmunk-free, so far, growing station, where we are planting corn. I don't know if these were radishes or turnips, but the bugs are eating them up pretty badly. And here we have some, I forgot, we sprouted them from seed. Oh, I think that was safflower. Yeah, that was safflower. And here was some grass growing. This is the remnants of our first batch of plants. These were tomatoes that never did anything. The only couple tomatoes that lived. There's a tomato. These were weeds. So a couple tomatoes, and they never did anything, and the rest were killed by the chipmunks. There's corn. There's a mix of safflower, sunflower, and another flower thing. I forgot what it's called. But these are our second or third attempt. I think our third attempt at planting sunflowers. Yes, our third attempt at planting sunflowers. Because the critters, as long as there's a seed pod or a seed head, the critters will eat them, dig them out and eat them. So we've got them up on a shelf here. Here we've got different types of turnips and radishes going on. And down here I'm not sure what Melanie has. It looks like a failure because they've never grown up. I think that was, yeah, that was supposed to be strawberries. They never did anything. And then I don't know what she's got in here. It's a mix. There's one of her beans, some Kerbis type plants. We'll have to get out off the ground, or those will get killed quick. So this is how we're starting our plants for our garden. It's the only way to make it happen. Even the corn, especially the corn, they'll dig them up in a hurry. So I have to wait till they're good size before I plant them in the garden. But at least we got them growing. So much for sun. It's been raining on and off every day for 2 weeks. That's just how it is, I guess. Hey guys, today is all about planting all day long. Right, Melanie? That's the topic of the day. All of our seedlings that were sprouted, or all of the sprouts that were indoors and ready to come out, I did a tray. Melanie's on your first tray or second tray right now? Second tray. We planted the stuff out in the garden, and I put some lettuce out back. I'll take you out there later. And we're caring for the things that we have that have already started growing. And then I also planted I repotted the herbs, which I'll show you as well in a while. It's a lot of care if you really want to start a garden where you've got critters and everything wants to eat your garden. It takes a lot of time and care, because we can't plant directly in the ground. We learned that the hard way, didn't we, Melanie? Yeah. You plant directly in the ground and you're just feeding the ground squirrel. There's some healthy ground squirrels. They're eating well, aren't they, Melanie? Yeah. And then what I do is I put these in opposite way they were before, because they're reaching for the sun. They're reaching towards the light. Now you got, oh, down here is all wet. Oh, this was from today, this corn?
Yeah, that's...
Okay, the corn can't be on the bottom, so I'm going to swap that out with something that's less likely to be eaten by the critters. This old tray. You know what, Melanie? We might as well plant in this tray.
Yeah.
Because nothing ever grew out of that. That was what was destroyed before. And I'll put the corn up higher, keep it safe from critters. Now next year we'll have an actual greenhouse for this. Here, this one as well, Melanie. We can refill this and level it back off. There's a couple tomatoes that they never grew. Everything else was dead. We can take out the grass. The grass that grew. So we have 2 more trays we can use in the next day or so as needed. So let me show you what I've done besides that so far. This is one of the herb collections that we got, buy one get one free, the other day. And it was in a small cardboard pot, biodegradable, and I ripped the bottom off, and it was a solid massive roots. It was really past time to transplant. So I put it in this larger pot, and what I did is I put the fertile soil that we brought home in the bottom half. Then I put fertilizer and mixed that in. Then I put the pot, I ripped the bottom off the pot, put the pod in, and then put the fertile soil around. And you can see that's good black fertile soil. So, oh, I love the smell of these herbs. These will now be very healthy. Here in our herb bed, you don't see it right now, well, barely. I don't know if you can see this with the camera or not. These little guys sticking up. This was lettuce mix. And what I did is it was stuck to the paper towel. So I laid the paper towel down, and then I sprinkled soil over, and then I wet it down. And we'll keep this moist for a couple days until it really takes root. But I think you can see the sprouts. And then we'll have some lettuce here in our herb bed mixed in. And I want to put a couple root vegetables along the edges as well to help fill this herb bed in until the herbs really take off. These came with the property, and we need everything we can get our hands on in this place for planting, so I put some holes in these for drainage. Why they never came with drainage, I don't know, but that'll allow them to be used for vegetables. I figure we can put some of these together. There's a broken one. Now they're all cracked. We can put some corn in clumps in a few of these and see what happens, since we have a lot of corn right now on hand. Can you give me that other base over there, please, Melanie? It's over behind the grill. I'll put maybe 4 stalks of corn in each and put these out here out front, and maybe a couple peas on the outsides all the way around, so they can grow up, or beans, so they can grow up the corn, and then we have a beneficial system here in pots. That's the theory anyway. So I'm going to take them over and fill them up with dirt and put some plants in them. Well, the birds sure seem happy. Everybody's all scattered out. The meat birds are always hot. I don't feel hot, so it's not necessarily that bad out, but the meat birds are just always panting. Now you can see the other birds are not. So they just have a higher temperature, I think. They're always panting. Even the young ones are. But they all look quite happy. They're chirping happily. There's the other pot of herbs that I planted. Look at this. It's setting down runners all the way to the ground. This one wants to reproduce. I may just find a place for this and let them grow into the ground, and then dig it out once it sets root, and put them out around the chalet and around the house, because the more mint we have around the house, the better, to prevent insects and rodents.